Hey, welcome back to That's a Drama. Last week we discussed a couple of things, but we had a scenario with someone who was sleeping around with their best friend's ex, and I had a lot of people calling me and posting things to me about that. A couple of comments, a couple of emails about people who have experienced that or know someone that is going through that exact same thing. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to discuss something that I think a lot of people have issues with. And I've had a lot of people come to me talking to me about this since I mentioned the topic. And it's been like different scenarios, people in different aspects of their lives dealing with this particular topic. And today we'll be discussing trust. Now, on my agenda, the first part we want to look into is dating. When you first initially meet someone and you're into this relationship, you're liking this person, they like you, you're vibing, and you're getting to know one another. I was asked, do you really give that person 100% of your trust? That depends on the individual. If your past has been like bad relationships where your trust has been tested or has been destroyed and you're trying to get back out there and you're trying to date again, if you have not dealt with those past issues, meeting someone new would only put that pressure and that stress and that negativity from your past onto them. So you won't trust them. You'll be in a cycle. And that cycle is always something that a lot of people deal with because they feel like, oh, I'm over with that person. This is a new person. So let me try. But you're not really dealing with yourself. You can't get into a relationship unless you truly know that you're over your past relationship. Now, to answer that question, like I said, it depends on you and also depends on the person that you're with. I have a best friend, and she's married now. And when she met her then boyfriend, she trusted him 100%. And not because she's had like the greatest of guys, it's just the fact that he personified something that really made her feel comfortable and gave her that security in order for her to feel trust. If the person that you're in lust with, or if you feel like you're trying to pursue a relationship with this person, that person gives off something that attracts you to them. I mean, if you go and say scientific like pheromones and whatnot, but for basic terms, that person just has something about them that captures your attention, something that you're attracted to. So naturally, you go into the relationship trusting, giving them all of you, or sometimes if you've had experiences in previous relationships, you have a different way of approaching new relationships. You have certain set goals and how everything will go. You know, we'll cut off at this point, we'll start kissing at this point, and so on and so forth. But that's another topic altogether. But back to the trust thing, it depends on who you are inside. It depends on what you're looking for in someone, and then it depends on what that person gives back to you. If you feel that that person is the person that you want to spend time with to get to know, then by all means give them your trust. It's not fair to them to enter a relationship with you if there's still some hardship going on in your past or some bruises that you're trying to cover up with this new look because they don't know you, they don't know your past. So we like to try to escape our past. So trust is always attached to your life. It's attached to your experiences and it's going to be attached to your future and your present. So just keep that in mind when you meet someone. That it's not always about them being able to be trusted. Can you trust yourself to be there 100% for them? It's only fair if they don't know you, you don't know them, but you are trying to get to the middle of knowing each other. You both have to enter a relationship with 100% trust. That is, if this is going to be a relationship of substance. So if you're just dating people just to hang out and get to know them, your trust level and your threshold for trust is going to be different. Because if it's just going to be somebody you see on a casual basis, someone you don't want to talk to all the time, someone you just want to see when it's suitable for the both of you, then trust is still important, but not as important as giving your life and your heart and your emotions to this person. Being vulnerable, that's the key word. Being vulnerable is the most important part of knowing how much trust to give somebody. If you feel this person is going to be able to get deep inside where no one else has been able to get through, then that is very important for you to think that through before pursuing that relationship. Now, the next portion of trust that we want to look into is after being in a relationship. And that's all we all know. You can have a great relationship, but it's not always great. And there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. Because if you're looking for perfection, you're not going to find it. Because then if you're looking for something, you actually have to have it within yourself. You can't expect someone to have what you don't have and then have such a high expectation of them and their flaws when you also have flaws and issues of your own. But if you're in a relationship and you've got to a point where trust has been, let's say, tainted, damaged, or destroyed, rebuilding trust in a relationship with someone that you are dating is different. Time apart, absent, absence make the heart grow fonder. Trying to do different things. Let's try to date again. Let's cut it back. Let's be friends. Let's get to know each other, and let's see if a relationship is in our future. Easy. If you're in a relationship where you're living together, let's occupy two different spaces in the home that we share. We're dating, we love each other, and we live together, but it's not something to where you say, I'm giving my life to this person. It can be a roommate situation with perks and bonuses. You're still in a relationship, but it's not to the level of this is my forever partner. So if you're living together, separate yourself from one another. Build yourselves individually and then come back together and share what you've learned. Because sometimes if that person broke the trust with you, give yourself that time to figure out your part. Don't always take the road of saying, you messed up, it's all you, I didn't do anything, so I don't have to do anything. I don't have to learn anything, I don't have to change anything. Because it's not fair to them. When you get older in your life and you get older within your relationship, if you're not careful, you can grow apart because one or both of you have missed the important portion of growing up together. But the trust with living with someone that you're in love with, it's a little deeper than just a dating scene because you're attached to each other within the home you share. That's not saying that you have to stay together forever, but it's just saying that you share a space. You have to find a way to work around whatever issues you have. The biggie is in a serious relationship, be it engaged, be it married, or in my situation, common law marriage. Once you get to a point in your relationship when your partner has destroyed the trust, but you still love them, you don't want to give up, but you don't know how to pursue, you don't know how to step forward, you don't know what to do for your future relationship with them. If you're not careful, those things that you hold inside become darker and harder to get rid of once that person tries to make the attempt to fix everything. Speaking from my personal experience, it's difficult for someone to allow me to see them for a different person if what they've done has gone on for a long period of time. If you experience things in your life and you brought them into a relationship with me and I'm noticing that these things are here and I'm bringing them to your attention because in a relationship you are the observer of the person you're sharing your life with. If no one else knows you, this person that you love knows you, sometimes even more than you know yourself. If you guys are in a deep relationship and trust has been damaged and you're trying to figure out how do we fix this? How can we fix this? Is it worth fixing? If your first thought is, I'm done, then go with that. But make sure you have the closure that is respectable for you and the other person. They have destroyed the trust, but they still have a portion in your heart and in your relationship with you. You did not go through this relationship alone, and you did not spend this time alone. So if you can wipe away everything that you've had together, then it potentially was not even a relationship anyway. So trust was not a big deal anyway, which means the energy you put into the relationship is what you got back. Now, if you are in love with this person, and when this happens, where trust has been damaged, and your first thought is, I can't end this, I don't know what to do. That is the most honest place to be in your life. There's not always an answer for every situation. Sometimes you have to grow to know. If they have done something to break your heart, make you feel that you can't trust them, make you feel like the relationship that you've had with them for however long you were together was a lie because of what they've done, then you do need to reevaluate everything you've done together. And the thing that I'm doing now in my own personal relationship is taking some self-inventory on what I've put into the relationship, what I've carried with me, what I put on the other person, the pressures I have in my own life, things that I have on my own person, have I put those on that other person? Because sometimes we're so caught up in our own ways that we don't realize what we're doing. It takes someone that really loves you and wants you to understand their feelings for them to step up and tell you, you're not noticing this, but this is what you do to me. You're not noticing this, but when you talk to me, this is how you talk to me. Having that open dialogue can bring you back to a portion of your relationship where the love and the trust is very strong. With that in mind, when you go back to that place, look at the things that you were doing then and to see if those are things that you're doing now. And if they're not, that means something has changed. And it's not always a bad thing that you change. It's a bad thing if you can't go back and really look at what we had, where we are now, and what do we need to do to go further. Even if you're breaking up, you still have to have a part. You still have to work together. You still can't just end the relationship and say, hey, we were together for so many years. It's over. Bye. Because that door is still open. There's still love there. There's history. And there are things that you have not dealt with yet. So before walking away from a relationship because trust has been broken, trust is very important. But keep in mind that trust is not the only thing that keeps you together. Trust is what makes you feel comfortable and secure in your relationship. In order for there to be security from that other person, there has to be trust. So that's why trust damages relationships, because once trust is out of the relationship, the security falls apart. When you view that person as someone you can't trust, everything that they had about them that may have been annoying to other people and may have annoyed you if you were just friends, you looked over because you loved them so much. But now that they've taken that biggest portion of what made them special to you away, you see everything that you don't like about that person. And that is so common in relationships. We forget that you've always snored. Why is it bothering me so much now? You always interrupted me when I talked. Why is that bothering me so much now? You always forgot to do this, or you forgot to say this, or you had never remembered my birthday. These things that you probably let go for so long have never bothered you because you loved each other. But now that they've brought something into the relationship that was not there before, it's kind of like your subconscious is grasping at everything that you could use to hurt them more because you're hurting. That is just reflecting what you feel inside onto that other person. And that's where we mess up our relationships. When we start making these other people jump through hurdles to get our trust back. But what are we actually doing to ensure that, hey, if they do the work and they do fix everything, they come back as a different person. But now you're treating them the way you said they were treating you. That's because you put the blame on that person and you stepped back and you let them do whatever they needed to do. You didn't participate. You didn't engage. And now that they're trying to win you back, you're trying to make it so difficult for them to do so. Trust is a very, very fragile thing, and it can go either way. Even if you did not start out as the person who messed up the trust, you could be the very person that ends a relationship. Based on the fact that somewhere down the line, with your focus being on their mess up, you forgot your part in the relationship. You can't blame someone if they're trying. And you can't neglect the fact that they are trying their best to win you back. Sometimes there are things that we just can't take back. That is something that you need to be aware of before entering a relationship with anybody. I've met a lot of people that said, if I get cheated on, I can survive that. I got some people saying, even if I got hit one time, I can survive that. I don't care if he comes home every night. I don't care if she hangs out, sleeps around, as long as I don't know anything about it. Everyone has their thresholds on what they can and can't deal with. But you have to be honest with yourself on that, and you have to present that to the person you're pursuing a relationship with. You can't start bringing up a list of things that they didn't know anything about that were okay in the beginning, but now that they've made a big screw up, you have a list of rules now. That's not fair, because those are not the rules that you live by when you pursue the relationship. Therefore, they should not be rules that you put upon them now. We have to step into relationships with being realistic. And we have to understand that we're not perfect, so we can expect them to be perfect. The thing that you should respect is if they are willing to try the best that they can, to do the best that they can, to be as perfect as a human being can possibly be for you and for themselves, that is a person that you need to work that relationship out with. Trust, it will come and go. Love will always stay the same. Love will only grow. You could hate somebody because of what they did, but you don't stop loving them. A perfect example is children that have been taken from their parents. A child that has been abused will constantly love their parent. They will take up for their parent. They will lie for their parent. The same thing happens to us when we become adults. It's unfortunate in certain ways, but then again, you think about it. If you can love through hurt, that means you're strong. You don't lessen who you are just because you take someone back for whatever they did to you. That only means that you're a stronger person. But if you do accept this person, they did not do the work. They did not admit they're wrong. They did not work on trying to fuse back what they destroyed, and you take them back anyway. Whatever happens after that is pretty much your fault. You're setting yourself up for whatever they do next. The thing you don't do is allow them to feel they can make up any mistake they want. They can destroy anything they want, and then they can just come back and you'll take them back. Because once you do that, that will be the nature of your relationship. Okay. Now, this is a big one. Say you got in a relationship, trust has been messed up, you worked it out, but more issues came along, you worked it out, but now you, the individual, can you truly trust yourself to be a good partner after enduring what you've endured from this other person? That is a difficult question because once again, it goes back to who you are as a person, what you've dealt with, what you haven't dealt with, what that person has done to you, what kind of person they are. The question is important because we can go through our lives and have great relationships. You know, we may just break up because careers changed. We went to different paths in our lives. We've changed our mind about what we thought we wanted. Anything could separate us, and it can still be a very great breakup to where you still have a friendship. You're still communicating with one another. This is more towards someone that you are in a deep relationship with, or you're married to. We'll just say lifelong partnership. If you've endured a lot from this person and you've taken and you've taken and you've taken and you just keep taking from them and they mess up and they make mistakes, you take them back, you work it out. But deep inside, if you're not addressing what those things that they've done to you have done to your life and in your heart, there's another person growing inside of you because of that negativity. We don't notice this person because we're still feeling like we're not in the wrong. We're not the ones who made the mistake. We're not the ones who destroyed the trust. But if you're not careful, there is another personality being built because all this hurt is going somewhere. It can be lashed out through things that we do. It can be lashed out in how we talk to people. Or before your eyes, you change into someone entirely different. People are saying, what happened to you? You know, you're not the same like you used to be. You're not as funny as you used to be. You snap at people so quick now. What's going on with you? That's because you've allowed all this pain, this darkness, and this anger to build inside of you. And now you are what you've been hurt by. So now you're lashing out at everyone. Everyone is a target. So no, you can't trust yourself if you're not dealing with what led you to be where you are right now. And the thing that we need to understand is if we're in these kind of dysfunctional relationships, every time you break up and you get back together, you lose something. It's just like driving your car. Every time you have an accident, those of us who know we should not be behind the wheel and you know who you are, every time you damage that car and Shade Tree Mechanic fixes it for you, you lose something. Eventually that car falls apart. May look good on the outside, but it's jacked the hell up on the inside. That's what a relationship is. Not everything can be viewed by the eye. Some things you have to feel. Some things you just sense. You know something's different. You break up, you get back together. You probably did the whole let's be open, you date, I date, see what it brings us. You get back together. Or you break up, something tragic happens and it brings you right back together again. Every time you break up and you get back into this relationship with this person, you have lost something that kept you together in the first place. So now you both are trying to figure out ways to stay with this person. You don't know why, because you feel like, well, we've been together so long, we've broken up and gotten back together, so why can't it work? It's because everything that kept you together in the beginning is gone. When you lose something and you get back in a relationship, if you are not addressing what's being taken away or what is not re-entering the relationship, that will only end the relationship a lot sooner than you expect. So those times when you break up and you get back together, there's got to be times when you sit down with each other and you've got to have open dialogue. When you want to have an open conversation with someone, that means you have to let them know what's going on. You have to have that honesty in your heart when you discuss anything with them. And if you love them and they love you, the truth always hurts, but the truth feels so much better going down than a lie. A lie can feel like blades going down your throat because a lie sets you up to feel secure in an area that you truly aren't secure in. And sometimes lies can destroy our lives, can destroy our future. But the truth, you know where you stand with this person. You know exactly how they feel about you. You know exactly how they feel about themselves. You know exactly how they feel about the relationship as a whole. So if you're not taking those times to figure out what did we not bring back into this relationship this time, whether it be the fourth or fifth or sixth time breaking up and get back together again, if you're not noticing that things are changing, then you're headed for a downfall. You can't trust each other because you can't trust yourself. And sometimes we love the inevitability of ending a relationship because then you can always say, well, it was going to happen anyway. So that means you never really put the work into it. So it's kind of like you cheated yourselves out of whatever time you wasted, not really dealing with what could have saved the relationship. Not every relationship will be saved, but what you do after that relationship is over with shows if you've grown or if you're still in the same place you've always been. If you're around a bunch of people and every time you open your mouth about a relationship, another relationship, a failed relationship, and it's always the other person's fault, then there's something wrong with you. Even if you are meeting people that you break up with and they are not great, there's something in you that brings you into those relationships. There's something in you that draws you to these type of people. So there's something in you that needs to be fixed. So when we say, oh, I know me, I know what I'm going to do, no one can tell me about me, that's not true. We change so often that it will shock you with the things that you said 5 years ago that you would not do, that you do now. Hell, 5 months ago. Certain foods you said, I hate that. And you got a taste of it and now you can't get enough of it. We change all the time. Different circumstances bring out different parts of who we are. The human brain has so many aspects to it that even the greatest scientists still can't figure out how it functions. We suppress memories, we suppress feelings, we suppress emotions, we suppress everything that we can't really focus on because so many things are going on through your day. Things get put up, but they don't go away. So this violence that you may have that is being shown could be something based on an experience that you can't remember. You can't remember why you're so angry now. There's something in you that caused you to get to this point. So that's the thing. That's the thing you need to think about when you feel the need to discuss trust. Start it with you first. Don't start saying, "Oh, trusting somebody." No, start with you first. Can you truly trust that who you are now was the person you thought you would be when you were younger? Who you are now, is this the same person that you said you would be when you were in a previous relationship? Or the person you are becoming, is this the person that you knew you would be when you were younger? And if you can answer that, oh yeah, I knew it, without thinking about it, you lie to yourself. If you have friends like me, they can read between the lines and they know you're lying. So when you think about trust and you think about the relationships you're in, the relationships that's about to be over, a marriage that might be about to break up, you might be splitting up, you might be taking a break. When you initially sit and make that discussion, what you need to make a discussion for those types of changes, they involve you and another person. So don't internalize these decisions because they affect other people. So before I get into that, just make sure that you have these open conversations when nothing's been held back. Not words of anger and emotion, but just actual factual feelings when you discuss parting, divorcing, breaking up, or just taking some time away from each other. Please make sure that you let each other know your intentions on what will be going on if we are just breaking up for a while, taking a break, or parting ways just for a season or a lifetime. Because in life, It's not, nothing's truly ever over. Even when you die, your memory still remains. Who you were still stays here. Memories of you are still around. People that have had the pleasure of knowing you, loving you, and getting to build a life with you. So any decision you make, if you're in any portion of your relationship, any decision you make has to be a decision that is made based on the people involved in the relationship. Because no matter how bad it may have turned out, there was something that made you fall in love in the beginning. So the thing that you can trust is if you do not fix whatever the issue was, it will come back again. And as always, drama never goes away. It just changes. And now that's the drama.